we had an issue with a feed shortage between the actual spraying fallows and harvest time. And in that period of time, we'd have ground cover on our paddocks early, and then by the time the sheep walked them down and we got to harvest, the paddocks were bare and starting to suffer with wind erosion. We have sandy loam, which is all our cropping ground, and down on the heavy flats, there's subsoil constraints with salinity and some boron. Saltbush fills feed gaps. When I spray out my fallows, chem fallows in August, from August through to harvest, or September through to harvest, the sheep come out of the cropping paddocks and into the saltbush, which just keeps cover on my fallows helps prevent erosion. The ewes are mated in the saltbush and come back out in probably February and graze the stubbles. We've got saltbush is probably 110 hectares of country that we had problems with subsoil constraint and dryland salinity. Those paddocks weren't productive for cropping, so we took them out. We had livestock in the operation anyway, farming operation anyway, so we took them out of production for wheat and planted them out to saltbush, and seems to have been a fairly good move. They called it a pump, I think, a water pump when we first put it in. We're hoping it's like stopped the spread. We've put it on the poorest country, unproductive country. Of the salinity, I suppose time will tell whether we have or not. There's a lot more ryegrass. Instead of having just bare ground, there's ryegrass, even medic, germinating and growing between the saltbush and under the saltbush. On the dry seasons, we've had to wean the lambs onto the vetch and medic pastures and put the sheep away in the saltbush. And because of that, prior to not having saltbush, those ewes would have been sold. So we've been able to keep all our sheep. We fatten our lambs on those pastures, and then the sheep are ready to either go out there or to be mated again to rams. I guess if I didn't have the saltbush paddocks, I wouldn't be running any sheep at all.